Hello, everyone. My name is Anka Udoc. I'm marketing manager in Elektrodistribucija, and I would like to welcome you at today's webinar, Digitalization in Energy Industry with Zenon. Thank you for joining us today. Let's see today's speakers. First, we will have Dalibor Bobic, Managing Director and Zenon Sales Engineer from Elektrodistribucija Belgrade. Dejan Sršen, Zenon Sales Engineer from Elektrodistribucija Slovenia. And then we have two guest speakers joining us today, Nate Novak, Application Engineer from d.o.o. Slovenia, and Ivan Veselinovic, Automation Engineer from Saturn Electric Belgrade. And on the left, it's me. As said before, I will be hosting this webinar. I'm Marketing Manager from Elektrodistribucija. So let's see what's on the agenda today. First, you will hear a little bit about Elektrodistribucija and Copa Data company profiles. Later on, service grid, distributed intelligence and networking, about cloud, upstream communication and downstream communication. After that, about application sets for efficient engineering, solar PV and substation. And as third part, we will hear about projects from our guest speakers, connectivity customization in Electro Maribor in Slovenia by d.o.o. and mobile substations automation in Elektrodistribucija Srbije by Saturn Electric. As last part, we will have time for Q&A session. So please send all of your questions to the Q&A box or the chat box, and we will try to answer the questions during the webinar or at the end of the webinar. This webinar is being recorded. You will receive the recording to your email address in the following days. And last thing, once the webinar finishes, a survey will pop out into your browser, so please fill it out. We want to hear your feedback. Okay, so I suggest we start with the webinar. I would like to invite our first speaker, Dalibor Bobic, who will talk about Elektrodistribucija and Copa Data company profiles. Welcome, Dalibor.
Yeah, thank you, Anka. Warm welcome from my side to all participants today. And just for the introduction, for those who are first time with us, just briefly about our companies and what we do, who we are. So Elektrodistribucija is dealing with innovative software and hardware solutions. So we are representatives and distributors of many solutions for energy automation and digitalization. You can see that we have 9 partners which we are representatives of, and we are doing business in Southeastern Europe in 8 countries with 3 our offices in Ljubljana, Zagreb and Belgrade. And so far we gather more than 500 customers in the region. Today's topic, of course, is Copa Data. Speaking about Copa Data, they are a software developer, started business in 1987, so 34 years until now. And what we do together with them, we do software sales, technical support and training and certifications for, of course, Zenon software platform, which is our main topic today. Copa Data has more than 300 employees worldwide, more than 300 members of partner community from where our today's guests are also, and more than 5,000 customers in the world, around the world, and more than 175,000 installations of the Zenon software platform. Speaking briefly about Zenon in general, it's a software platform. Next slide. Yeah, thanks. It's a software platform for industry and energy automation. So we will focus on energy more today, and Dan will speak in more details, but starting just with few main points like scalability. So you can start your project really small and extend it to really unlimited functionalities. And of course, security is a big topic. Copa Data pays attention to this very much. Flexibility, openness and validation in terms of engineering. It's very comprehensive software which provide you with less time in engineering and more security. So just for brief beginning, that's all from my side. Anka.
Thank you, Dalibor, for this introduction. I suggest we continue with our next part. I would like to invite Dejan Sršen, our next speaker, who will talk about service grid, distributed intelligence and networking, about cloud, upstream communication, and downstream communication. Welcome, Dejan.
Thank you, Anka. Okay, I will be talking about connectivity, networking, and some features in terms of engineering. So let's start. Why Xenon Energy Edition? Dalibor has briefly already mentioned a few benefits, but let's see here in terms of Energy Edition. In terms of control, we have command processing, which serves as a secured switching, so we can securely switch our switches in our substation. If we mention topology check and topology coloring, here we have basically an integrated interlocking possibilities, command sequencing module commands, then our commands from command processing. We can make a sequence with command sequencing and compile our process into in-service engine. If I mention some benefits in terms of investigation, we can make complete audit trails with process recording. We can record events and then analyze them in the past, and just in a simulation mode run our process in service engine as a simulation and analyze event that needs to be analyzed. Scalability has already been mentioned, so I will talk more about connectivity with next slides. And in terms of awareness, this topological coloring that I've mentioned is integrated functionality, and worldview, of course, is a nice feature where we can observe our substation or our installations from a bird's eye view, and then scroll it down to the smallest device. So our drivers, we have more than 300 integrated drivers. In terms of energy industry, we have here drivers that cover substation communication with wind power. We have 870 drivers, and let's also mention some latest drivers integrated as Open Charge Point Protocol for EV charging EVs, and then standard and proprietary protocols, and many more. Okay, protocols and drivers made at Coupa Data. This is in-house development. Continuously, we are adding new drivers. And if a customer encounters some unexpected challenges, like example of this we will hear from Nate from GDB, we can, Coupa Data with its professional service can extend certain drivers, basically can make new drivers if we need them. So this is in terms of driver development. And here we have two examples of integration of our energy production. So basically here we see, let's say, a standard feature of connectivity within energy production. So this connectivity solution that I'm explaining now is basically more in terms of energy production. Here at the bottom level, we see communication with 103 and then upstream with 104. And here we have our, let's say, a company network. So this is a standard possibility of networking with Xenon. We can also share some to a web client, but these are all service engines on different plants, and here we have our periphery. Okay, and now this the main topic of my presentation will be getting outside of this company network. So here at the left in our square box, we see our standard Xenon network. Service engine server and service engine client. Here we can publish our data to a service engine client and observe our service engine on a client. Basically, from an operator's point of view, operator doesn't even know if he is on a client or a server. So, and then if we want to get outside, let's say this is our facility, we have two more possibilities. With Xenon Smart Server or Xenon Web Server recently, we can observe our service engine on a Windows operating system in a Xenon Smart client, but we cannot publish data to a client. And second option is HTML web engine, which can present service engine, our process, let's say our runtime, to any device, as long as it is a browser. So here on these two possibilities, we don't need our service engine. Here, of course, there is a service engine installed, but here we only need a connection and possibility of HTML. So we can observe our runtime in a smartphone, a tablet, or a web page. But if we want to get outside, because if we have a distributed installations around the world, we need some expensive and not so reliable options like VPN, etc. But if we want to connect on different locations to installations through internet, we need a service grid. So as we see here, if we have distributed installations on different locations, we need some services that enable this connection to us in a secure and organized way. So we need some identity policy. So basically for purposes of authentication, authorization, then we can store our data in a cloud or whatever with all the alarms, events, and variable values. And then when we have this structure set, we can distribute this data to other apps. We can distribute it and send it to a third-party apps like a Grafana, a Python, or it can be any other MES system, web application, a mobile app, whatever, because we have the Xenon Service Grid API with web interface. Or if we look at the left side here, we can distribute this data to a first-party apps, so-called first-party apps, which are basically a Xenon apps. Okay, this for purposes of analytics, web engine. I mean, if we want to see our HTML page in a browser where we observe runtime anywhere in the world, we need our web engine. But basically, this goes in all directions when we have this structure. Okay, if we look at components of the Xenon Service Grid, so the main node is here a service hub. Service hub is here enables us. We need it for login and data transfer. It is comprised of data hub and hub controller. So data hub ensures data is distributed to corresponding recipients, and the hub controller within service hub is responsible for maintaining access rights for each individual service. So basically, service grid is a set of services. Okay, we can connect all system machines, everything into one place. So okay, so here we see let's say a local nodes, and here we can have these all services in a cloud. Okay, Service Grid API offers a REST interface and uses open authorization protocols and open ID authentication protocols, and all communication within Service Grid communicates only using TLS. So transport layer security, this is a certificate encrypted. So all communication within service grid is encrypted. Okay, as I said, identity service checks connection requests from all clients and is also validated against Azure Active Directory, Microsoft Active Directory, and LDAP. Okay, and if we look now at one use case, so we have undistributed locations are here. We have our Zenon service engines, which are basically a sort of a gateway, and then through ingress connector, we can send all this data to a central location, so central SCADA system in location A. We can, with service grid, store all data, observe data in our report engine, and send this report to desired locations. One more thing I could mention here, that this can also, in terms of installation possibilities regarding service grid, this can be on a native Windows installation, or it can be on a container in a cloud. So this can be in a container, so Docker, Kubernetes, and also on Linux operating system. So service grid can be on a container on a Linux service operating system as well. Okay, and now briefly, if I have a minute or so, to show some new Zenon service grid is with last 2 Zenon versions, but with new Zenon version 10, we also have some new features regarding possibilities within engineering. And if I can share my screen and look at this demo project of photovoltaic station. So we also have with Zenon 10 a version, a possibility of smart objects. So this is only for our engineers, that enables a more efficient, ergonomic way of engineering. So one smart object contains all variables, pre-selected functions, symbols, and all properties need to be parameterized and released and retrieved. So in a template, when you create one template, let's say you have an experienced engineer, he makes a smart object, and then he can set which features are pre-selected and which features are enabled and which are restricted. So that when, let's say, a less experienced engineer starts engineering, he receives this smart object, and then he only parameterizes. So when you have this template, you can use it many times. As you see here, all this smart check has been created once, but we have it used many more times. And lastly, about this beautiful, I mean, in design design point of view, this demo project, this can be reused by all integrators, all functionalities, all design features, icons, everything can be reused. And if you and we have many more demo projects, and if you ever decided to have something similar in terms of design, you can just contact me or us, and we will send you links with these demo projects. So this is a new demo project with the Zenon 10 and with integrated smart objects, which really make as we say, make your life easier. Okay, this was it from my part. We can now turn to Dalibor again, and I give word back to Anka.
Thank you, Dan, so much for this part. This was very interesting. Let's continue with our next part of today's webinar. I invite our next speaker, Dalibor Bobic, who will talk about application sets for efficient engineering, solar PV, and substation. Hi, Dalibor, welcome again.
Yeah, hello from my side. Yeah, really nice introduction from Dan's side to application sets. Let's speak more about what CopeData provides also in its portfolio. So in last Zenon version, new thing is application set. It looks like this project Dan showed us, but what is application set? It's a Zenon license and the solution package. So the whole project contained in this application set, including smart objects, as Dan mentioned, with all variables predefined, variable screen symbols, functions. So you can just play around, as CopeData likes to say, like Lego spaceship. There are all functionalities. You just need to use what you really need in each project. Speaking about application sets in Energy Edition, so we are covering also other industries, but today's topic is specifically related to Energy Edition. So we have two for now: Substation HMI and Solar PV application sets. Speaking about Substation HMI, as I already mentioned, it's a solution package with all information, components for a substation, templates just for use, templates of screens, templates of objects that are really common in all substations. So you just need to use and insert it into your project. What we can provide you also with efficient engineering according to all communication protocols in energy. So redundancy mode out of the box, of course. This parameterization instead of programming is a long-term sentence that CopeData is proud of. So central architecture, you saw one project, as Dan showed us, that you can edit everything. A single line diagram, okay, with all switch position, display, and color coding, so automatic line coloring according to the voltage and different other settings, a secure operation, switching actions, trend graphics, and all other graphic designs. Regarding the screens, there is predefined single line diagram with common processing in worldview. Dan also mentioned the worldview. It's a really, really nice solution of visualization of your project. You can zoom in and zoom out, getting more details, more information from all devices which are in the screen. Of course, communication screen predefined, you can customize it and use it, alarm and event list, trends, and all other standard screens in the project. User management, of course, it's really easy to define and to manage all users for the project. Substation HMI comes in 3 different packages, and for the beginning, it's important to say that there are 2 models, so subscription and perpetual models, with 3 packages in each model. So starting from small for small digital substation, medium for a little bit larger substation, and large one for large substations only, or even clusters of substation. Each of these packages starts with a number of tags. For example, in small one, you have 1,500 tags with different functionalities included, like common processing and the process gateway. Medium contains all small functionalities, and additional one like process recorder, command sequencer, of course, with more tags. Large one, the same as previous, contains everything in medium package, plus other functionalities. Speaking about Substation HMI solution application set, you can get more data scanning this QR code or going to this website. Of course, you will get this presentation later, so you can get a free demo. You can get all support from our side to make a project according to your needs. Speaking about solar PV application set, the story is the same. So it's a one simple solution. You saw a part of this project. It's nicely done project in terms of graphic and in terms of functionalities. So it's complete package. You just need to use what you want, what you need for the project. So various protocols, you can utilize the SunSpec and Modbus compliant interfaces, which is really important in solar PV applications. Of course, switchyard and substations, and it's really ready for web-based services and communication. Regarding the visualization, there is, of course, as in every project we did in Zenon, a comprehensive visualization. So graphic is really nice to use. Flexible dashboards, predefined, and the project itself, so this application set provides you with an advanced analytics for solar PVs. Speaking about the components, it's, as I already mentioned, so predefined screens and functions, including these components on the right-hand side. So combined boxes, metrology stations, energy counters, you can just put them in and use without any engineering. So shorter time of engineering is the main component nowadays. At a glance, this is when we speak about the projects in general, and of course, application set in solar PV, all these functionalities are included in this application set, and you can use it out of the box without any doubt that there will be something that is missing in the project. We will, of course, support you for every single project, and we can do this in a very, very short time. As a substation HMI, there are also 3 packages, also subscription and perpetual models. In this case, small is up to 10 megawatts of power, and medium and large accordingly, so above 100 megawatts and for large installations. Also different tag numbers and different protocols, different functionalities of the project you can see here. More information about this, including also the prices of different packages for end customers, so for project engineering and end customers, you can find in the website. You can scan QR code, you can get a free demo, and of course, all support from our side. So in short, for application sets, this is all from my side. Anka.
Thank you, Dalibor. Very interesting part. Okay, let's move on now to our third part of today's webinar. And I would like to invite our first guest speaker, Nate Novak from d.o.o, who will talk about their project they did in Electro Maribor in Slovenia, connectivity customization. Welcome, Nate.
Thank you, Anka. Okay, I'll tell you something about our project with Electro Maribor of reconstruction of the substation with zenon. First, something about GDB. GDB is a leading regional provider of IT solutions, consulting, and other services for electric power transmission and distribution companies. It exists about 13 years and has headquarters in Ljubljana, and we are a member of Technology Park Ljubljana. GDB's core business activities are implementation of control centers, team standard-based integrations for electric power utilities, team integration platform and interfaces development, substation automation, software development, and consulting. This is an example of our own product, Network Model Manager. Network Model Manager is a network model viewer that can work on data from each information system individually or as unified model in SIM repository. There are some SIM integration already implemented on, let's say, 2 Slovenian d.o.o.s, so Electro Maribor and Elektro Gorenjska. We also implemented SIM on NEDO Phase 1 and on IPS. We implemented also control centers for Electro Maribor and Elektro Gorenjska, and most recently during NEDO Phase 2, a control center for Elektro Primorska together with Hitachi. Why Electro Maribor decided to go for a new software solution for TP was that their old system was using operating system that was already out of date, and so we were unable to find drivers for old operating system. This old software solution was getting unreliable because we had to make some compromise, let's say using virtualization or some conversion. The main demands for a new software solution were a software that supports many different protection relays and standards, with some of them are quite old, fast response and support from software platform provider, and capability of further development and extension. Zenon was found as leading provider of those solutions that offer maximal flexibility and fast response and support both locally from Elektrodistribucija and from Copa data. Here you can see our solution. There are some signals, some alarm signals, then switch positions, and some measurement from each protection relay. Let's talk just a minute for how the signals come from protection relays to distribution center. First it gets from a protection relay through an optical cable to optical converter, where this converts to serial connection, where we use standard IEC 6875103, and then get to Zenon Service Studio. Then from there we go through a process gateway with an IP connection using 104 standard to distribution center in Electro Maribor. I'll talk just briefly about IEC 6875103, so we will get some example why we had some problems with this standard. 103 is a standard for power system control and associated communications. It defines a companion standard that enables interoperability between protection equipment and devices of a control system in a substation. The device complying with this standard can send the information using two methods for data transfer, either using the explicitly specified application service data units or ASDO, or using generic services for transmission of all the possible information. The standard supports some specific protection functions and provides the vendor a facility to incorporate its own protective functions on private data range. Here we see some data types that are the one with white backgrounds are that are on compatible range, and the one on the yellow are the ones that are on private range. Now let's talk about something about problems we have during this project. The first problem was that some signals from protection relay were on private range in standard 103. Here the only solution was for Copa Data to develop a custom extension, which they did, and we tested it successfully. The next one was that there was a different signal for switch position, whether this switch was changed manually, or if the switch was changed after a protection relay. Here, the first solution was to develop a zenon logic solution together with Elektrodistribucija that was working fine on one relay, but when we tested it on the whole substation, we noticed that protection relays are sending some different signals, and so this solution was not working. So the real solution was for Copa Data to develop another extension to add to that first extension. The last problem was the redundancy for standard 104 was not working, but that was then already implemented in Zenon 10. Thank you. That's all from my side. I'm giving the word back to you, Anka.
Thank you so much, Nates, for taking us through this interesting project. Okay, let's continue to our next guest speaker, Ivan Veselinovic from Saturn Electric from Serbia, who will talk about their project, Mobile Substations Automation in Elektrodistribucija Srbije. Welcome, Ivan.
Thank you, Anka. Okay, hello everyone. I'm so glad to have this opportunity to be with you today, unfortunately online, but anyway, it's so good. At the beginning, I will use a few minutes to say something about our company. Saturn Electric Belgrade is an engineering and consulting company specializing in the delivery of complete automation solutions for electric power systems, transmission and distribution networks, and industrial facilities. We are founded in 2005 in Belgrade, and we have office here in Belgrade and in the Republic of Srpska. At this moment, we have 41 employees, and we still grow up on this field. As a highly educated and skilled professional engineering team, we continuously bring new ideas and fresh approaches to our customers, and strongly encouraging them to share their challenges with us. We successfully installed and commissioned more than 100 substations in different countries, as you can see on this slide. Okay, on the following slide, you can see who we cooperate with so far, who are our clients until today. I will mention some of them, like for example, Siemens, Schneider Electric, Cell Apps, our power supply company, etc. After basic information about company, now I will say a few words about the project where we have used Zenon software. I want to use this opportunity to mention, based on our experience with other manufacturers, that we are extremely satisfied with Zenon capabilities. Today I will talk about mobile substations project, voltage level 35 to 10 kilowatts. That has been delivered as a part of European Union donation. The main contractor in this project was company GAT from Novi Sad. Saturn Electric was responsible for all engineering services related to electric design, SCADA, RTU, and other control equipment. These substations are very interesting, especially because substations were implemented on the truck trailers. On one of the trailer, there is cabin with switch gears, auxiliary supply, and control cabinet. On another one, there is power transformer and other necessary equipment. Our control cabinet contains all necessary equipment for successful operation of local HMI system and communication link to the regional dispatch center. Okay, now a few words about HMI. As you already know, there is Zenon Energy Edition installed. We have used the latest technologies available in the field of power system automation. Application screens are designed and created according to the customer requirement. Special attention has been paid to the functionality and visibility of the application and the ease of operation looking. You will see more about that in next slides. How was system architecture created? All devices are connected over fiber optic cables to the switches in control cabinet. Communication redundancy has been ensured with the 2 Ethernet switches which supported the RSTP protocol. With Zenon functionality, automatic line coloring, we provide information about port status of all intelligent electronic devices. Okay, this screen represents us a single line diagram, where you can see every single bay with information about fundamental measurements, symbols, type, and the name of bay. Using Zenon capability, we created a dynamic element which change color and state based on the value to provide important information about the real status of substation. On the top of the main screen of this screen, we have created a button bar where you can easily navigate between the screens by simply clicking the buttons. If you, for example, click on the bay name, you will see the screen with more information about the exact bay status of equipment, trends, measures, etc. On the command screen, we have used very powerful Zenon module command processing, using which you can command with switching equipment and change their position. We also provide important MMS driver information about service tracking using Zenon built-in capabilities. Alarm and event list are 2 very important screens where you can see every event and alarm in the substation. It is easy to set up this type of screen and to choose information that you want to show. On the alarm screen, we use Zenon faceplate feature to split screen on 2 parts. Measurement screen, here we can see complete information about measurements in the substation, all according to the customer's requirements. Zenon gave us opportunity to choose how to fill bars, scale numbers, create limits, etc. Okay, trend screens show us very useful live and history data for the desired period. On this screen, also Zenon gave us opportunity to change color and weight of lines, setup name, define limits, etc. Of course, if you know what you really want and have knowledge to create that in Zenon. Report viewers provide us with many possibilities. You can export data about power, voltage, current in different formats depending on requirements. Finally, Zenon is truly capable software that provides modern graphic design, flexibility, scalability, and ease of upgrading. Zenon allows us to meet all customer requirements. It gives full freedom to the end users to choose different manufacturers and different types of equipment for their project. It is a reliable solution that does not require special maintenance after the successful commission. Okay, thank you for your attention. Anka.
Thank you, Ivan, for showing us this interesting project. Okay, we have come to the last part of today's webinar. It's Q&A session. We have actually answered all of the questions during the webinar already live, but we have one more left. I think this one is for Dejan about service grid. The question is, can you only retrieve data from service grid, or you can also provide data?
Yes, you can also write data and provide data, so you can query data and write data with the help of Zenon Service Grid API.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so I think this is everything for today. If you will have any more questions, of course, you can always contact us to this email addresses provided on the screen for all of 3 offices that you have in Slovenia, Serbia, and Croatia, and we will be happy to help you. Once again, I'm mentioning that the webinar is being recorded. You will receive the recording in the following days, and please don't forget about the survey that will pop out into your browser. So thank you again for joining us, and special thanks to all of our speakers, especially our guest speakers. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you again, everyone, and see you next time. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.